Hi everyone. I'll just get right into it here. I've been testing quad racing motors in park jets in single motor prop and slot, similar to these two back here on the wall, for over a year now. And in that time, I've field tested about 14 different motors, I think. So anyway, it's time. I wanted to do a wrap-up series to sort of give you my thoughts on some of the best performers in a few different categories. I've already done, this is the RacerStar BR2406S 2600 kV motor. I've already done a review on this in the past, which I'll link down below. If you've watched my YouTube videos lately, I've tested it on 4S as well. So this one jumps out of all the motors that I've tested as probably the best value for the dollar. If you're not looking for super screaming power or anything like that, it's not the cheapest and not the most powerful, but I think for what I've paid for it and the performance that I've seen from it, it's been a really good performer. So this will be the sort of budget choice out of the bunch. I'll have links to that video down below. I'll also have a link. Engineer X did a review of this motor as well, so I'll have a link to his video. He actually pulls the motor apart, so you can look around and he shows the motor inside under the microscope. As well, he did quite a bit more testing with some other props, different from obviously from what I've done. So. Hopefully I won't repeat too much of what I had in my previous video, but just a quick synopsis. I primarily have run this motor and this green motor here. I also picked up one in red. I've got well over 100 flights on that motor. Really, been punishing it and enjoying it. I've run it a lot with the 6x4 APC gas. That's not exactly what I would consider a budget prop, and I know for a lot of people around the world it's a bit difficult to get, but it runs really well with that prop. But fortunately, it runs the best with, I found anyway, of the props that I tested. This is the Gemfan 6045 carbon nylon prop, as recommended to me by RC Plane Pirate. I'll have a link to his YouTube channel below. Very inexpensive, you get 4 of them in a pack. Very good performing prop, super stiff, and really works well with this motor. Most motors between 2200 and 2600 kV. On both 3S and 4S, I've been using the Turnigy AE 45 amp speed controller, which you've heard me talk about in a lot of my videos in the past. And I'll have a link to the review that I did on this speed controller down below. I've run it on custom settings of 22.5 degrees on the timing and 24 kilohertz on the pulse width modulation frequency. Again, I think this is a really good value for a speed controller because it's only about $22 from Hobby King. All these prices are in US dollars. But it has a lot of flexibility in the timings and all that sort of stuff, and I've pushed it really hard with certain motors, and it's held up no problem at all, including running this motor on 4S. So just quickly about the price, why it's a good value. Pardon me. Normally I pick mine up from Banggood. Banggood has them for just under $13 is their regular list price. But when I bought mine, and ever since I've been using them, you can get this motor for around $10. Now I know that's about double what you can get a 2212 2200 kV motor for, but you get what do you get for the extra money? I would say probably 5, maybe closer to 10% increase in performance. And again, I'm talking mostly what I've seen at the field. I'll have a link to my spreadsheet, motor test spreadsheet down below, so you can do your own comparison of the actual bench test numbers. But based on what I've seen at the field over well over 100 flights, this is definitely a more powerful setup. The other thing is it's about 20 grams lighter than the 2212 2200 kV motor, although it is quite a bit more amp hungry. So even if you don't want to go out and buy this speed controller, I would recommend probably running it with a 40 amp speed controller. Yeah, so it might be more expensive than a 2212, 2200 setup, but it is lighter and more powerful. On 4S, I still haven't bench tested. This is the King Kong 6040 prop. I still haven't bench tested this prop. I've only flown it at the field. Runs quite well, really well on this prop. A bit more amp hungry, and the motor does run a little warmer. I would say probably based on what I've seen at the field, once the motor gets wound out with this prop, it might be just a slight bit faster than it is with the 6x3 EMP prop, but you get definitely, because of the lower pitch, definitely better hole shot acceleration with this prop. So it actually sort of gives the perception maybe that it's very, very close in top end speed as the King Kong 6040. But again, as I've said in many of my other videos, to quote John Wayne, I wouldn't want to have to live on the difference in speed. So, but either one of these props, it does run a bit more efficiently and cooler with the 6x3 EMP prop when I run it on 4S. So there's that. From a standpoint of durability, as I think I might have mentioned in my other video, the metal is a little bit soft. I actually did bend the bottom plate here one time taking the motor out, because it is a bit chunkier in dimension, so you have to be a little bit careful if you put it on one of those standard X mounts to mount it in your park jet like I have over here. You do have to be a bit careful, but I was able to gently bend that back into place, and it's still runs super smooth since then. The paint, they're painted, both the green one and the red one. They're painted, so the paint does chip off or rub off fairly easily compared to some other motors. I've made these little quad motors are really, I find are really hard to get a good grip on when I'm trying to tighten the motor. So what I did was this is just an old cheap set of pliers, expandable pliers that I picked up at the dollar store, and I just globbed a whole bunch of hot glue on there so that I didn't damage the motor too badly. And what I do is I just get a grip, if it'll allow me to, I just get a good grip with this on the motor, and the bell doesn't turn while I'm tightening down the prop, but it has rubbed the paint off, but it hasn't affected the performance of the motor. So yeah, so there we go, folks. There's out of all the motors that I've tested, I think that this is the best value for the money if you're looking for an increase in performance over a 2212, 2200 with about a 20 gram weight saving. Again, depending on the speed controller that you use, it might only work out to maybe a 15 gram weight saving, but for its size, excellent torque compared to pretty much all of the motors that I've tested. This has really high-end torque because of its size, and it's thus far is working out really well from a durability standpoint. I've been very impressed with it that way. So there we go. There's my budget pick and also an update because I have reviewed this motor before on the RacerStar BR2406 2600. Again, there'll be lots of links to all these props, other people's channels, the speed controller videos, my previous video on this motor, my review video on the Turnigy AE 45 amp speed controller. So please check those out for more information. So thanks very much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Park jet noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.